Hey everybody, this is Nick from ThreadX3 Productions, and today we are here to talk about Hypercharge Unboxed. It's a game that lets you relive your days of smashing your action figures together and pretending to be in an epic battle. If this doesn't make you instantly think of small soldiers, then you are far too young and we can no longer be friends. It blends first-person shooting with a tower defense game. Each level is full of color and chock full of little Easter eggs to find, with so many references to toys I used to have as a kid, or at least had friends that had them. And if this doesn't have you grinning from ear to ear from the sheer amount of nostalgia, then seriously, did you get a hold of mommy and daddy's phone? It's 10 a.m. Do your parents know where you are? The customization is great, from dinosaurs to grunts. You can make your action figure your own. If you have a PC or a Switch, it's definitely worth at least paying attention to this review to see if you would like it. So, will you love it or hate it? Let's find out. But first, Jesus Christ! There is a lot of you who came and watched the review for Hunt Showdown, our last review. First off, thank you so much. While reviews are not normally our forte, I really do like doing them when I have the chance. I appreciate everyone who came and commented on it. I really appreciate all the love that I was getting it. I've been doing this for 4 years, and all the love I've been getting for that last one is really just making me feel like maybe I'm doing something right. And then I did this review, and who the hell knows? Please check out everything else we offer. Plus, we have podcasts on all the different platforms. I'll put that in the description below, and I'll do my best to look at all the comments. You can also go to @TX3 Productions on Twitter, ThreadX3 Productions on Instagram, or threadx3productions@gmail.com to get a hold of us directly. Either way, we're really good at getting back to people, so yeah, just contact us. All right, back into it. Let's start with the visuals. First off, I'm playing this on a Switch, so I really can only talk about my experience there. So like I said before, the colors are very vibrant. While this isn't the most graphically impressive game, it makes up for it with the color palette that is more than 3 colors. And it's just a breath of fresh air to have a game so full of life. Everything feels like a real object that you could reach out and touch. And the perspective is first person, but you are a child's plaything, so your stature reflects that. Each level is great. One taking place in a warehouse, a bathroom, toy store, garage, a kid's bedroom, and they are all packed to the brim with something new to look at. This is a far cry from a Call of Duty or Battlefield where one map is a forest. Now you're in a desert. Now you're in a bombed out city. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. The only thing each iteration does is change up the lane setups and look prettier. That is, of course, except the classic maps, which are really just excuses to make money off of work that you kind of already have done. Why come up with a new, interesting map that makes you think and play in new ways? No, let's just re-release Nuketown, but now it is in Mother Russia. This was done. Where is my vodka? I need my vodka. Each of these levels stand out for various reasons and keeps things interesting by taking you to places you've probably been to in real life, but they think of, what if you were an action figure with Halo physics and double jump? How would we arrange everything to make it interesting, challenging, and fun? Really great visuals, even if it's not ultra high def 10K graphics. So what about the gameplay? So this is a first-person shooter with a tower defense thrown in. This has certainly been done before, but just like everything in this game does it with more color, nostalgia, and charm. So here's basically how everything works. You spawn into a map with 3 cores. They have predetermined places where you can build stuff on. You can build an assortment of walls, traps, and turrets, but you need to get enough coins for that. That's where the unique level design comes in. fun. You can use the double jump and mantle to go to every nook and cranny of the level and check for coins to pick up. And I do mean every nook and cranny. You'll find coins here and there, near and far, by the side of a bed and the top of a car. You can find so many if you just look. Just don't forget every cranny and nook. I'm sorry, once I started, I couldn't stop. But seriously, it's really fun to climb and jump around the levels. Once you're happy with your setup, or you've gotten all the coins, or let's face it, more likely the time has run out, and now it's time for the defense mode. I thought I was having fun when I was blowing apart robots in level 1, but literally had to pause the game and laugh when the second level introduced Beyblades. The enemies are so varied and also ring the nostalgia dinner bell very often. From Beyblades to army men, UFOs, to friggin' boglins that explode when you shoot them. So you shoot stuff, you survive a certain amount of waves, then rinse and repeat. The shooting itself is completely serviceable. I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I do kind of mean it in a good way. This is no AAA video game, so I don't really expect like pinpoint accuracy. But when I shoot at something, it usually hits and dies appropriately. The main thing that's unique is instead of having two weapons, you have a gun with rotating barrels. You start off with one and you can go around and find a box and purchase new ones. So you can go from having a machine gun on one side and a sniper rifle on the other, or a grenade launcher and a shotgun. The animation is kind of cool when you switch between the different barrels, and each gun does have a very distinct feel to them. The Switch even does an interesting thing using gyroscopic aiming. Basically, you tilt your Switch or your controller up, down, left, right, to aim your gun. This is really cool and can really make the game feel more immersive. Instead of an analog telling where the gun goes, my motion does. And when it works, it feels like a really great addition. You might have noticed the subtle when it works. I honestly don't know if this is just my controller, but sometimes my character will randomly just start looking down and it keeps going. It never goes into controller throwing territory, and usually just a quick wiggle of the right analog will fix it. But if you're having a bad match, it can certainly start to wear down on you. And I don't think it's my controller because I play Warframe and Warface, which both also have gyroscopic aiming, and I don't seem to have the same problem with those games. So it's really just a small nuisance when it does happen, but like I said, it can start to grate on you. Jumping feels great and floaty, but in a good way. Some games have that floaty jump and it can just feel off. But in this game, you're an action figure who's come to life. So jumping from bookshelf to bookshelf, on top of a door, on top of a computer screen, and most of the time it was great to land a really long jump perfectly or mantle up at the last moment. Once again, you might have noticed I said most of the time. There were certainly some jumps that I had to say out loud, I clearly should have made that, or at least mantled. But I guess I just didn't feel like it. The tower defense is pretty well done and has a wide array of walls, traps, and turrets. The main issue I have is either a preference or something that's just kind of nitpicky. But the areas you can build stuff are predetermined. Now, I did join a session that was clearly a higher difficulty, and I did notice that you have way more areas to build stuff. Regardless, I much prefer a system akin to Dungeon Defenders. You can place stuff wherever you want, but you're limited to a certain amount of build points. Each wall or turret has a varying amount of point value, meaning you can really tinker with builds. With predetermined spots, it really just feels like a first-person defense mission. Don't get me wrong, the tower defense aspect is a part of the selling point to the overall experience, but it is definitely something I'd want different. Online play. Now, I did not do extensive testing on this, but the matches are kind of hit and miss. I have great internet and I don't normally have any problems, but I could definitely tell if my speed either dipped or somebody joined who had worse speed than I did. While this didn't ruin anything by any means, it's just another thing to keep in mind. So overall, the game is really fun, has charm for days, has a refreshing color palette that isn't afraid of variety, and so much nostalgia you could just have fun exploring the huge levels just to find everything that the developers hid away. It certainly has its flaws and its online could use some love, but either by yourself or split screen is enough fun that I don't really feel the need to go online at all. Now, when I do reviews, I don't give a number rating, mainly because I'd like to more give you a suggestion of what I think an ordinary person should do. I still buy my games, and I always want to review my games from the perspective of someone who works for a living. So 1, do I regret my purchase? No. Do I regret spending the $19.99 on it? Honestly, no. Just $5 more and maybe I'd be singing a different tune, but this seems like a perfect price point for this game and what you get from it. So I'm gonna rate this a day one purchase. Add on top of that this is a really cheap game that has tons of custom options but doesn't nickel and dime you for everything. That just adds more to the value. So that is Hypercharge Unboxed. Have you guys played it? What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. Once again, go to ThreadX3 Productions on Instagram, TX3 Productions on Twitter, or just threadx3productions@gmail.com. Thank you so much and look forward to some more stuff this week. I'm going to be working on some stuff. Really excited to keep this going. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And when it works, it's really like a great addition. It's really like a great addition. Why is there a like there? Has a refreshing color palette that